Okay, 你们好. So like I said, I would do a screencast because I want to show you more about this book, Zhen Bang. All right. So I'm go through the beginning, and I am skipping a little bit because these are just the introductory pages, which you can look at on your own. All right. So we're going to start with the foundation and foundation A. So today I'm going to talk about 第4页到42页, page 4 to page 42. And you can see that when you have completed this lesson, you should be able to find China on a map, identify places where Chinese is spoken, describe what China used to look like, describe what China looks like today, pronounce initials and finals, pronounce four tones and the neutral tone, use the correct Chinese expressions in certain classroom situations, explain how Chinese characters evolved, identify the most common traditional radicals, define the meanings of several common Chinese first names, and introduce yourself. So as you notice with this map, in terms of China, and you will hear me compare a lot between mainland China and Taiwan. So to tell you the difference, right, mainland China, of course, is this bigger one, PRC, People's Republic of China, mainland China, and Taiwan, ROC, Republic of China. Very confusing, I know, but those are the official names for those two countries. And so mainland China is PRC, and the capital is Beijing, right? And Taiwan is this tiny little island, which I am from. To compare, by the way, Taiwan is actually very similar in size to New Jersey, okay? And if you'll notice here in terms of superlatives, so this textbook actually is pretty recent. It came out, I think, just a few years ago. So these are still pretty accurate, I think, as of now. So the world's largest city square is Tiananmen Square, which is in Beijing, and I visited there before. And the biggest palace is the Forbidden City, which is also in Beijing. And it also has the world's biggest man-made structure, which is the Great Wall. It's very impressive when you go to see it. I will tell you though, because I'm afraid of heights, so for me, it was, I did go on it, and just to say like, oh yeah, I've been here. And then I did not walk that much more because it was just very tiring. All right. It's also the most populated country with about 1.3 billion people as of time of writing, but I'm sure it's even more now. But I will talk about actually later on in terms of population control, the one-child policy, and how that also became abolished. But now, if you see here on the text, it also says that it's the third largest country in total area. Okay, so it is literally a very big place. Okay, and so as you know, if you pay attention to the news, it is one of the global superpowers. And just like how America is often in the news, China is also often in the news as well, right? Especially with more recently. All right, so if you look at the first part here, right? 按图所记, 所记, 按图所记. Referring to the maps, you're going to find answer to the questions below, and you're going to answer me these questions, okay? So I will assign these onto Google Classroom for you to complete, but just for you, okay? They are not going to be graded, but if you would like to, then you can do these for yourselves, all right? Okay, so this I will go over a lot more tomorrow in class during our online class. But I do want to make sure that you can see here how pronunciation works. If you look at this, okay, these are called Chinese characters. They are not symbols. They are not drawings. They are a writing system, okay? Chinese characters. These are what we work with. This is called pinyin, which is using the alphabet to spell out the sound. This is what kids learn in preschool and maybe kindergarten, but from the very beginning, right? This is what we see all around us, what you will see whenever you visit Chinatown or Flushing or wherever you see a major Chinese population. Okay, 发音, pronunciation, pinyin, initials, and finals. Chinese has both a spoken form and a written form. Standard spoken Chinese based on the sounds of Beijing or northern dialect is called 普通话 in mainland China and 国语 in Taiwan. In English, the term Mandarin is used. Just so you know, because I am from Taiwan, when I speak Mandarin, I do have an accent that is more of a southerner accent. It is not like, the Beijing official northern dialect. Just like how, you have the Oxford English, the Queen's English. That is not the kind of dialect or accent that I speak with. I speak with a southern accent, okay? It's just as legitimate. People can understand me. And the way I talk to you actually is not the way I talk to my Chinese friends, okay? I talk to my Chinese friends, of course, a lot faster, right? And with less enunciation, right? Chinese written language is in the form of characters which convey the meaning rather than the sound of the language. Since there is no clear relationship between the Chinese sounds and characters, it is more efficient for beginners to learn spoken Chinese via a phonetic transcription system. Although there are many transcription systems, this book has chosen to use pinyin, the official romanization of mainland China. A pinyin syllable can be made up of 3 parts: an initial, a final, and a tone. Although not every syllable in Chinese has an initial, it must have a final. Initials resemble certain English consonant sounds. There are 23 initials. Finals resemble English vowel sounds. There are 24 finals. There are 4 tones in Chinese plus a neutral tone. So just so you know, again, this is the basis and the foundation of the language, but I'm not going to ask you specific things like tell me how many initials there are, tell me how many finals there are. First of all, I am not good with numbers. So I don't really remember numbers as well. I work with languages. And also to tell you, I am not good with grammar. So I don't like to teach grammar. So I'd like to teach things in context, okay? Of course, there is grammar, but I will tell you honestly, Mandarin Chinese works like this, right? The grammar is very simple and can be simple. What is challenging is the vocabulary, especially with the other languages you may have studied. So Spanish, French, Italian, German, Latin. A lot of these other languages, you just work with the alphabet, right? And you work with sounds that also words that sound like English. You will find very, very few of those in Chinese. And that is why it will seem like it's very difficult because the vocabulary is so much, right? There aren't really cognates for you to recognize to compare to your own language. However, we're on this together. It will be fine. 没关系. Okay? 发音练习, pronunciation practice. I will do this very quickly, but the reason for this again is because we will do this more slowly tomorrow in class. 发音练习, 波 坡 摸 佛 的 特 呢 了 个 可 和 鸡 七 西 之 吃 是 日 子 ci, si, i, u. Some of these sounds are probably easier than others to make. I will show you a video tomorrow in terms of how to actually make these sounds, and it's going to seem very different, but it will be fine. So for some of these sounds, I want to emphasize, especially J, Q, X. I call them, oh wait, sorry, no. Yeah, J, Q, X, I call them the awkward smile. So Ji, Qi, Xi, right? You should look at my face, my mouth shape, right? Because this is not like how you pronounce English, where the sound is J, as in like a G sound, like George, or chi, or she. It is not like that, okay? You have to make an awkward smile, like Ji, Qi, Xi. And for Z, H, C, H, S, H, and R, those are the ones where you have to curl your tongue and imagine that your tongue in your mouth is curling a little bit like this, okay? So it's almost like you're saying the name George, okay? But not. So zhi, chi, shi, zhi. And Z, C, S, I call those the mosquito sounds because it's buzzing, right? So z, c, s. If you put a hand in front of your mouth, z, s, you should feel and hear a little bit of a vibration and air coming out. All right, 发音练习, 尾音, the finals, okay? A, 我, i, u, ü, I, a, 微, ao, o, 有, ye, 约, an, in, 温, yun, ang, ing, ong. All right, These, again, same thing. I think some sounds are easier than others. My big emphasis, especially for all of us new to this language, is this sound, okay, the fish sound. And this one, the U with the umlaut, the 2 dots on top, is a sound that you actually also have in French and I believe German. So what you do is this, okay? Put 2 fingers here and you start with an E, okay? U is the sound that you should have. So again, this is the sound that you have in French, like déjà vu, okay? It's not déjà vu, okay? If you pronounce with an American accent, it should be déjà vu, okay? U. That is a very challenging sound, but it is possible because I have the same exact mouth, right, as you guys do, right? We all have, most of us, have mouths, right? Most of us have teeth. So U is a challenging but a very possible sound for all of us. You will see it again here with the 2 dots over, right? Yue, but that's going to be pronounced a little bit differently. And then here, yun, right? The UN. I will also tell you, because of my accent, sometimes it's a little bit challenging for me to pronounce some sounds. Like I personally mess up between ing and in, okay, because of my accent, right? So for example, the capital of China is pronounced Beijing, but for me, if I speak really fast, I say Beijing. If you don't really hear a difference, then that's okay too. I'm not really worried. I would suggest that in terms of these G sounds at the end, and it's kind of like a little bounce, right? So when you're pronouncing the capital of Beijing, you should say Beijing, okay, Beijing. All right, language note. For the sake of convenience, some vowels are omitted in pinyin orthography. These include IOU will turn to IU, UEI to UI, UEN to UM. However, this omission does not mean that they are left out in vocalization. Thus, when pronouncing such sounds, the speaker should stick to the original vowels. Again, I'm not too concerned because I know that spelling is not everyone's strong suit. I love spelling, and I will correct your spelling if it is wrong, right, in Chinese. And in English, even though I will not count it against you if it is wrong spelling in English, but I do care a lot because, like I have said a lot before, I grew up in Taiwan and here. So actually, I was born here, but I moved back and forth between Taiwan and US when I was young. So I actually didn't start learning English permanently until I was in elementary school. So I know that it can be very challenging to learn a whole new language, especially at your age because you are a little bit older. But if I can do it and if I can speak with a Jersey accent, then so can you learn Chinese and speak with a beautiful accent. Okay? 发音练习, pronunciation practice. So these we are going to do in class, all right? So I am going to skip now. All right, so this we talked about a little bit in class. So if you'll notice, this is the structure of Chinese syllables. A typical Chinese syllable is composed of 3 parts, an initial, a final, and a tone. Not all syllables have an initial, but every syllable must have a final, and that is where you put the tone mark, right? So if you'll notice, the letter M is like the consonant, 对不起, sorry, and final is like the vowel, okay? And the tone mark is right there. You put there over the letter. And again, these are called tone marks. They are not accents. Accents were what you use for Spanish, French, and Italian, German, and Latin. Okay, for Mandarin Chinese, we call these tone marks. 4 basic tones. Tones, the pitch of syllables, are an important element of spoken Chinese. The function of tones is to distinguish meaning. Take 水饺, dumplings, and 睡觉, to sleep, for example. They have the same initials and finals, but different tones that result in different meanings. So know your tones, right? Know your pronunciation. If you say the wrong thing, you could be saying that you like to sleep versus you like dumplings, okay? 水饺, dumplings, 睡觉, to sleep. Chinese has 4 basic tones and 1 neutral tone. Take a look at the chart below, which shows the 4 basic tones with examples, which we tried. So now we're going to go very quickly. Basic tones. Ma, 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 ma. All right, so I'm going to pause here